But this week, we have MacKenzie Scott, a graduate of our very own biology program back in 2017. And the little sandwich board out front said that she has been doing a whole bunch of things ranging from track and field to undergraduate research. And then I realized that's not a true range, but who's going to edit that? But she did a lot of those things as well. And who knows why she was so successful, but she jumped over some of the normal paths where you might be expected to work maybe in some of the local field offices of an agency, skipped all that and jumped right into the main office of the Department of Environmental Quality, centered in the state capitol in Richmond, and has been there for going on 2 years. And we're just happy to have somebody back to give the perspective that I think MacKenzie has. So she'll tell you all about her position, her journey, and then she'll take questions. So let's welcome MacKenzie.
Okay, so you basically already know about me now, since Ralph just gave you a recap. But my boss, who is Dave Davis, who is actually the director of the Wetlands and Streams program, was supposed to come, but he put me in charge, since he says I'm kind of the reason, or shows that this program works and everything works. So you guys can take proof that you can. I was sitting right here, and he came and he was presenting all these things to me, and I was like, wow, it makes so much sense. So I hope that you guys can get the same feel for it. So this is some strategies and tips on for completing a Commonwealth of a State of Virginia application. So I'm sure some of you are seniors now. How many are seniors? Okay, and you're obviously looking for jobs. Anyone? Juniors? How many are you? Okay. Do you guys want to go around and talk about a little bit of each of your programs or your majors at all?
Sure. I'm environmental biology, and I just joined Dr. Atkinson's research lab, so I'm probably going to look for a job in wetlands.
Okay, cool.
I'm environmental bio and environmental studies, and I also am Dr. Atkinson's lab, so also wetland things.
Cool. I'm environmental bio, and I am also in Dr. Atkinson's lab, shockingly. But I'm going to jump ship after, not this upcoming year, but the fall after that, and try and do marine science.
I'm a graduate student, and I'm working with Dr. Atkinson doing mitigation projects on coastal forested wetlands.
Cool, you're awesome.
I'm actually an anthropology student, but I'm passport.
That's okay. That's okay. So this process I'm going to go over will help you guys apply for any state job. It's not just bio, it's any state job in Virginia. So if you guys are all looking to get into state government, it's a great process to go through. Okay.
I'm a poli-sci major. I just came with her to this presentation.
Okay, how are you guys back there?
I'm an environmental studies major, and I just applied for a summer internship with the DEQ.
Awesome! Okay, cool. Maybe I'll see you.
I'm also environmental studies, and I also applied for the summer
Cool.
internship.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm environmental bio, but I don't really have any involved in.
And you guys? What are your majors?
I'm an environmental biology major. I'm in Atkinson's lab, and I'm looking at internships.
I'm a graduate student working with Dr. Whiting, doing water quality and nutrients concentrations.
I'm an environmental biology major, and I did Atkinson's lab.
I'm environmental biology. I'm also in Dr. Whiting's lab doing water quality analysis, student restoration stuff.
So I'm actually a musical theater double major in history, and I'm from Atkinson's 15 class.
Awesome.
I'm a molecular biology major, but who's here interested?
I'm a finance major. I'm from Atkinson's biology.
I'm a communications major. I'm also from the 115 class.
I'm a business major. I'm also in
Well, Rob made you guys all come in.
purely optional.
And I'm an environmental biology major, and I'm just here to learn more information.
Anyone I missed? So shocker, I was in Rob's research lab as well, and a lot of his biology classes. He's also partly the reason why I have my job. Because having connections and networking with certain people really is a good key. And honestly, in the government, even in just your field, networking is so much closer than you think it is. And so many people know each other that you would think know each other, and just slightly connecting with one person can help you out in the long run. So I'm just going to go over a couple of strategies and tips on how to apply for a state application. So some of the objectives that we're going to go over, my boss basically created this from a perspective of a hiring manager, so I'm going to go over it a little bit as from a hiree's perspective and how I got through this process, and also a little bit of what he's expecting from you guys as well. So I'm going to provide a description of the application process and the hiring process from a hiring manager's perspective and from a hiree's perspective. Some tips and suggestions on how to get into the state hiring process, and I'll answer questions about completing the state application process as well. I will say this presentation, when I was in y'all's position, really helped me. It helped me understand what they expect of you in an application, and also things that I didn't know that are key points. They're super important. So some goals. Obviously your long-term goal is to get the job, but your short-term goal is to get the interview, and you can't get the interview, or you can't get the job without the interview. So to get the interview, you have to screen in. So with these state applications, basically screening in means that they're looking for certain keywords for you to highlight on your resume that will show up in the screening matrix on the website and pop you up as a likable candidate based on how many screening in words you have. They're usually called action words. So an example would be like researches, wetland mitigation stuff, or just, I'll give you further examples down the road. But a good application is also tailored very specifically to each job. So I know you guys probably have a lot of general applications and you're applying to a lot of jobs, but it's really important to tailor each and every job application, or tailor your resume to each and every job application, because it makes the hiring manager think that you're much more critical with the details, and you know exactly what you've done or what you've researched, and you know what the job entails. And any additional information, like your cover letter, your resume, must be consistent with the application that you have. So it's very important you do it correctly and you take your time to do it. So all state government jobs require a state application. And the website, you can go to jobs.virginia.gov, and that will bring up every department of Virginia's state department, and you can apply by department or by bands. Pay bands, location if you want to just be in Richmond, or if you want it to be in DC, or not DC, Nova, or by role position. You can also, I know a lot of you probably have LinkedIn accounts. I found that using my LinkedIn account instead of creating an account on the Virginia Jobs website helped me, because when you use LinkedIn, it will kind of convert everything you have on your LinkedIn over to the application and set it up for you. So that's really helpful. It will automatically sync. So this is what the application or the website looks like. When you come onto it, the website address is up there. And here's the page if you want to create your account, or like I said, down here, the LinkedIn button will automatically sync a lot of your experience. Your past jobs will go in there and automatically just sync into your application. And it's super helpful and will save you a lot of time. So if you want to create your account, this is the information that they're going to ask you. This is just what it's going to look like. And this is what I was talking about when you want to search by pay band or by department or by location. It's super helpful to really just tailor out, because as you see down here, it says view results. There's 1,300 results that popped up. And if you're doing a general application, thousands and thousands of job listings can come up. So what's important to know about this website is they post every Friday, I think about at 4 p.m. So always check on Friday afternoons if you're looking for a state job. And it's also important to know that some of the positions open are agency only, so I didn't know that actually at the time, but you can only apply if you're an agency or if you have previous experience with that agency. So if you're coming from out of school or somewhere that's not the state government, you want to apply to a general public job. They also have part-time jobs and different types like that. But this is what it will look like when you get on the website and you have an account. So what's important is to know your job description. This is an example of an HR's job description. A little more on those action words. You can see consultative managers on issues related to staffing, policy compliance, all kinds of words in here that you would really want to look and highlight in your resume so that when it scans by resume, it'll screen into the screening matrix and pop up, and you'll automatically be a candidate that's interested by the hiring manager. And that basically the point of the screening matrix is to tailor out any people that obviously get thousands of applications a day, and anyone that's completely irrelevant that doesn't have it's just applying to get a job. They don't have to have the experience, they may not have anything that we're looking for, so that's just to tailor them out. And down here would be minimum qualifications, so usually it says high school diploma and a driver's license, and this is obviously a lot more than normal because it's for HR, but it's key to know these acronyms because you may get asked about it later if you make the interview. And then there's preferred qualifications down here, which would be like a graduate degree or extra research that you've done on your own. Here are pre-screening questions, so these are also very important. These will come in before you even put in your general application. The point of these is some of them are disqualifying, so if you say no, then they need you to say yes, and then won't even go through the screening matrix. So these are important to really read through carefully because they're basically, if you're going to be considered a candidate, these have to be answered and you have to make sure you answer them correctly. So, some examples. Not all of them are disqualifying, some of them are, but mostly it's just to get or tailor in which applications are coming through. So some tips. Like I said, you guys probably all have a generic application, so just make sure that you tailor it. You can save your own application on the website. It'll have a little section for you where you can save it, and then you can tailor it whatever job you apply for. So say you apply to VDH, and then you also want to apply to DEQ, and you have the same general application. You can just pull it up off your account and tailor it and make it very descriptive to that one job and send it off, and it goes straight to their website. So like I said, make sure all the information is consistent across all documents because they are going to look at your application and your resume and make sure everything lines up. You're recommended to submit your college transcripts and make sure you have someone else proofread your materials because it's important. You don't get a second chance to make first impression is what my boss will say. So a little bit about the action words. Some examples are plans, coordinates, supervises, reviews. Those are all action words that will be what the screening matrix is looking for in your resume. So it's important to just really look at that description of your job. If you don't use the document words, you have little chance of being screened in. So the short-term goal is to get the interview. So another thing of the screening criteria, they're called KSAs, which are knowledge, skills, and abilities. Some are weighted, some are more important than others. Some KSAs are tangible, like the ability to use statistical software, or intangible, like how you effectively communicate in writing. Excuse me. Something like that would be understood by if the hiring manager is going through your application and he sees that your resume and your general application or your cover letter don't match up exactly, that's going to show him, oh, that candidate is not really effective in writing because it will show right there. So that's why it's key to make sure everything is consistent. Your applications may be pre-screened with pre-KSAs, and that are critical.